y'all, I'm Hope from Crafty Hope. Welcome. We're going to make a grungy assemblage box. At least I hope that's what we're going to make. That's the plan. I am working with products from graphicsarts.com today. Specifically, what I've pulled out is the Dura-Lar prints. This is the Grungy Vibe edition by Kerr. I've got some computer graphics. This is the clear adhesive back film for Inkjet. There are so many options at the computer graphics. You should go take a peek. This is some black chipboard. They also have a white chipboard and a not clear. It's not clear. Natural. Natural, like craft colored. And then I've pulled out the double tack mounting film that may or may not get used. We'll see. It's always handy to have some double tack on hand. So what we're going to work inside of is this. This is just a little wood box from the craft store. I like that it's already got hangers added. So I may tape that back when I go to alter it. But for now, we're going to start by altering one of these grungy prints. And I think we're going to work with, if I can get him, this guy right here. Now he is a bit bigger than I need, so we'll end up cutting him down, but I think actually we're going to go ahead and cut him out of the print. So I'm going to start by cutting. And that's where I stopped talking and started concentrating on grafting. We are going to do the best to fly through this because there's a lot of little steps, but they're really pretty easy and experimental. I had a lot of fun experimenting with these graphics products and making a box that, y'all, I absolutely adore. I hope you like it too. If you have any questions, make sure to let me know either here, I'll try to come back and check, or over on my channel. So you saw I added on the back side of that print some gold, just accents on his little pocket handkerchief and buttons. And then I painted my box while that was drying. So I came back in with some alcohol inks and some colors. Now, y'all, I had the idea that I wanted to make this kind of look like a tin type. So first thing I wanted to do was kind of age and color him. So I think the purple was probably a bad choice, but like a blue, a gray, and a brown. So I think denim, mushroom, slate or shadow, and eggplant, I think, were the alcohol ink colors I used. And just a blender that I did. Here is a fun technique that I came up with that I was really excited about. So tin types are metal, and I wanted this to have like a metal feel. So I took this outside. That is a solution of half and half vinegar and water. I tend to use it to clean glass, but it works perfect for this. I'm spritzing a bit on the back side again of my Dura-Lar print, taking off what I don't need, and then I am spraying some silver spray paint. This is a Rust-Oleum one that works on plastic. I have a gold that I also really love, and pretty quickly I blotted off where the water was. So you can experiment with this, see what works best for you, but it dried on that plastic really quickly. So I was trying to make sure that it didn't sink and the water didn't evaporate. But y'all, I got that splotchiness on there that kind of gives this a fun age feel. Now I want to give it more of an age feel, so I played with several other products, including the first thing I put down was acrylic ink in a warm gray, I think, and then this is some golden fluid acrylic in transparent red iron oxide, something like that. I will have it. It'll be down in the description box, but it adds a great a great rusty color. So here is some chipboard that I cut down on my laser cutter in these scallop shapes. So while my Dura-Lar print was drying, it was kind of needless, y'all. I put some black gesso on there. You couldn't see it, I couldn't see it, but I felt like it would help seal the chipboard a little before I put this gold acrylic paint on there. So I did put like 3 to 4 coats of that gold acrylic on there and then set that aside to dry. Once it was dry, I'm going to grunge up this guy a little bit more. So I'm adding, this is like a Oyster Beige color that I am brayering on the back side, and then with the tiny bit that is left on my brayer, I'm going around the edges of the front side, and then almost immediately putting on some matte gel medium to push back the shine of this. And I didn't want the brush marks, so I also brayered that. Okay, so he is less shiny now. I'm going to cut him down now to size. I didn't want to cut him until I had all that done in case something went awry. And then to the front side, I am going to add more of that transparent iron oxide color, that rusty color. You could use maybe a quinacridone nickel azo gold, or even like an orange, just whatever color is rusty to you. And I added some like rusty touches to the front of him, including I think some splatters. And I did the same thing over on these chipboard pieces. Like I said, I cut these on my laser cutter. I will have the information below about what speed and all that, but use what's best for your laser cutter. You can also use an X-Acto knife or scissors or whatever to cut down the chipboard, as you will see here in just a little bit. So this is what I did with the computer graphics. That is an old ledger page that I had scanned and printed it out on that computer graphics, y'all. It's so fun. And this is the adhesive back. So I am pulling up the backing paper on it and sticking my little gold scallops on it. Just like this. Now I'm going to do all 4 of them, but I'm not going to make you watch me like try to line them up perfectly, and it doesn't really matter because I'm going to put them in different directions and all of that. I am burnishing it down just a little bit. I do caution you to be careful when you burnish this because you could peel up some of that coating, so just be cautious and don't rub it too hard. So once I had all 4 of those scallops on there, I am going to cut off the excess of the computer graphics. I did this with 2 different things. I started by using an X-Acto knife to cut it off, but that got super, I don't know. I ended up using scissors. It worked fine. X-Acto helped get some of the finer details. Then I did pull out my double tack mounting film, and it's going to go on the back of my dude. So I peeled back some of that paper, stuck him down, and then I am going to once again cut around his excess. So I could have waited to do all of that. I don't know. I maybe didn't need to cut him earlier. I could have kept the rectangle before. And anyway, you do you. You do you. So once I had the double tack on the back of him, I've pulled out another sheet of the black chipboard. And again, if you have one of the other colors of chipboard, you could just paint it black and get this done. And put him down. So y'all, look at the magic of that. I love him so much. I cannot wait to play with the other characters that are in that printed Dura-Lar. So I did use scissors to cut around the excess chipboard, and because this is grungy, I am going to use a standing block to stand off some of the edges. So I cut another square of the black chipboard, and it is going to be on the back of my little shadow box. So I used more of that Oyster Beige color on the chipboard, brayering it on real quick. Again, we're keeping this as grungy as we can. Once I dried it, I did spritz on some paper Artsy Infusions. I believe this is Olive Tree, and I'm going to dry it. I actually did 2 rounds of spritzing and drying with the Olive Tree, and then brayer on a little bit of green gold. I just wanted a pop of color in there, and green for this guy that I wanted to kind of keep a little masculine. Somehow green seemed like the right color. I'm using Walnut Stain Distress ink and an ink blender to just age up the edges, and then coming in with more of my computer graphics that has that scanned ledger page on there. So, and I'm going to put that straight on to my
chipboard there, and again fold up the back a little, trying to save as much of this as I can and trim it down. You can tell I'm kind of putting that back down so I can save that yumminess for later. I did go around the edges and make sure I trimmed anything that was sticky off. And now comes for the assemblage part. I am bringing in some found objects. So I've got this piece of rust dyed fabric that I really wanted it to have more of an organic shape, so I kind of bunched it up. And since we've got the rust in there, I brought in my container of rusty nails. I thought, okay, that could be fun. And since I colored his buttons gold, I was like, oh, more gold or brassy buttons would be a lot of fun. So that's the plan. So the first thing I decided to do was bring out my needle and some black thread and bunch up this fabric and I could have used glue or whatever, but my 100-day project this year has been stitching, and so to me everything needs a little bit of stitching, and it helped because it was what I did for my stitching on this day that I worked on this project. So I am stitching across, kind of just like I said, I didn't want this to be super straight. I wanted an organic feel to it. So once I kind of figured that out, I decided I wanted to stitch it onto my chipboard. And the way I'm going to do that, because the chipboard is super thick, is I've placed it on one of my sanding blocks, but a towel or a piece of foam or whatever would work. And I used an awl to punch a hole in through my fabric, through my chipboard, through my computer graphics, all of it got a hole in there. And of course I got a knot as I was trying, because I had too much thread. That's on me, but it worked out just fine. I got my knot out, we're all good. So I pulled that through, and then I'm going to and I keep trying to make sure where my fabric is going to go, and I'm going to punch another hole, and that's going to be hidden behind my tintype guy. And I'm just going to stitch on that fabric. So I'm going to go through those holes a couple more times like this, making sure that's hidden. And then I want to stitch the buttons and the rusty nail on. So I will also punch holes and get those stitched in. I am not going to share that here. I might do a video over on my channel as well of some of these things I haven't included. So if you're interested in that, go check out me. Again, I'm Crafty Hope here also on YouTube and Instagram, so you can find me in those places. I did make a knot here on that side to make sure that stayed nice and tight before I punched my hole on the other side and stitched buttons on. So then I tied everything off on the back, and there's my little assemblage for him. I did come in with a little bit of Beacon 3-in-1 just to make sure the fabric didn't go flopping around a whole lot, and then secured my knots and I don't know where the holes are on the back of the chipboard. Just I like to make sure everything's adhered well. So he needs to stand up a little, so I cut down some of my excess chipboard from where I'd cut him out and made little stacks of it. I'm gluing 2 pieces of chipboard together to give him a little height, and using it's a Dollar Tree wood glue. This one dries super fast, so if you want additional drying time, maybe use a different wood glue like Tite Bond or something like that. Once those were dry, because I am again gluing to that computer graphics, which is kind of a shiny slick surface I didn't know that the wood glue would work on, I'm going to use the Beacon 3-in-1 again to glue him to there. And I'm holding him. I'm also going to the that's kind of like a military button there with like an eagle on it and everything, and I wanted it to be like up and down. You have to kind of look at it. It's kind of worn, but I am going to glue the button kind of to him as well. And then use wood glue on the back of my chipboard. I've got this little tool that spreads the glue out. It's just a thing. And then put him inside my altered box. So we still have our scallops to add, y'all. And this was a fun little experiment. So I've taken those scallops And I'm using just a Sharpie marker in red. Now red is on some of that ledger, so it didn't bother me if maybe I didn't get the Sharpie off. But I'm marking the inside and the outside corners of the box so that I can miter the edges of my chipboard. And as you saw, easily cut that with my scissors. So again, I'm going to use my wood glue and stick down, making sure that the bottom edge of my chipboard is lined up with the edge of my box, and do the same thing. You're not gonna see all 4 edges again. I may have some of that over on my channel, but I'm gonna make sure those mark. And you see that scallop didn't match. I don't know, it was kind of wonky, so I'm gonna mark it and just use my scissors to curve my scallop down to that mark, just like that. And then mark the other 2 corners, the other 2, yeah, and clip that and then glue that down. Like I said, I worked my way all the way around the box and allowed everything a little bit of time to dry. Y'all, this box is done. I had so much fun playing with the materials from Grafix Arts, and encourage you to go check out grafixarts.com to see all the different products they have. There's so many things there to experiment and play with like I did, and I hope I inspired you to do just that. Thanks so much for coming by and watching, and I hopefully will see y'all later. Bye.